It's time for HawgSports Live from HawgSports.com, a division of 24/7 Sports, presented by Crain Automotive. The Crain Team's got 'em. Visit them online at crainteam.com. And now with the latest breaking updates on HawgSports, here's Trey Biddy.
What's up, everybody? Trey Biddy with HawgSports.com, HAWGsports.com. Well, it was a really fun weekend, I think, overall, starting with Jordan Smith committing to Arkansas and then Arkansas beating Auburn, of course. The baseball team is going to try to go 3-1 with a game against Tarleton State today, one loss over the weekend in Arlington. But we're going to talk about all that, what's coming up, some scenarios. Have a little fun with today's show. We're going to bring in Connor Goodson to talk the latest in Arkansas basketball, Kevin Bohannon to talk the latest in baseball. We'll take your questions as well. All that and more on today's episode of Hawg Sports Live. Crain Automotive Team has 16 locations across our state and is home to the Crain commitment. You'll find Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Hyundai, Kia, Volkswagen, and access to thousands of pre-owned vehicles. Vehicles for every lifestyle and every budget. Even if you're not in the market for a vehicle, the Crain Team Service Centers offer the latest in vehicle diagnostic technology and certified technicians to take care of your vehicle, get you back on the road. Check them out at crainteam.com. Hawg Sports Live is driven by the Crain Automotive Team. Woo!
You've done it. Now you're the Crain Cash Champ. You just won big with the Crain Team. Go ahead, soak it up. How could you not feel like a winner? You dominated with our low price guarantee, and you got way more for your trade. Plus, with statewide delivery on thousands of vehicles from 16 locations, and the fact that we'll beat any other dealer's price, we make our Kansans feel like champions every day. That's winning. That's the Crain Team. Visit crainteam.com.
Anybody else notice that Twitter is not just doing an auto-generated post anymore to show my show is on? It just says live now. I have to go in. That's why it took me a while to get started, because it's like it's not creating the post. That's annoying. All right, so just a little bit of football news real quick. We've got Ryan Silverfield Tuesday at 12:30, and he's going to be followed by offensive coordinator Tim Cramsey and defensive coordinator Ron Roberts. This will be the first time we've spoken to Cramsey and Roberts. First time to put them in front of the media. And obviously a lot to update with Ryan Silverfield. Since the last time we spoke to him, he hadn't even filled out his full staff. He hadn't talked anything about any of the transfer additions, any of that stuff. So a lot to talk about. Obviously, we've got spring football starting up. I believe that's March 15th is when that was announced. And then what was it, like April 25th? I don't even have it in front of me, but it's a long way out till the red-white game. And a lot of that is because there's a later spring break this year, as we've discussed quite a bit. But I would expect them to hold something like probably 5 practices or so before spring break and then hold the remaining 10 after that. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the revenue report coming out for the fiscal year 2025. Now, it's important to note that this starts on, July 1st and runs through June 30th. Okay, so July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. And so that it doesn't include the revenue sharing amount, since that didn't start until July 1st, 2025. So, but football, this is based off of Arkansas's 7-win team, not this last season that won two games, but the 7-win team. It earned $29,737,000, so almost $30 million for a very mediocre football team. $57 million in operating expenses, $57 million in operating expenses, $87 million in revenue generated. So football, I mean, it just shows you just like why football is so competitive. We've had a discussion on the Razor's Edge forum about this, so I just wanted to break this down a little bit. Men's basketball, over $4 million in revenue. Every other sport operated at a deficit, which is typical. The number one deficit sport was women's basketball at over $6 million, and then it was men's track and field at $5.5 million. Women's track and field at $4.9 million, and then baseball at $3.1 million. operating at a deficit. And, I just bring this up because, like, Arkansas, baseball in the SEC is extremely competitive. It is the best league in the country, obviously. It's extremely competitive. But I always make the point that, like, Arkansas puts its best foot forward for baseball. And there are just more teams, I think, that have the same level of resources in this conference. Now, what separates Arkansas is, nobody's going to outdo them in terms of facilities, in terms of having a guy like Dave Van Horn as the coach. There are other teams that spend more in revenue share, allocated to baseball, more NIL for baseball, but you make up a lot with having a guy like Dave Van Horn who players want to play for and stuff like that. So, but my point is that, like, if baseball were to drive more revenue like football does, because you can work hard and try to be competitive in football and do all you can, but the fact that football, for a program that's mediocre, generates $30 million being mediocre versus, baseball operating at a deficit, it's just hard. You can put your best foot forward, do everything you can in football, and you're still going to have programs that, have bigger alumni bases, more tradition, all this stuff, still be able to outdo you in football. Just the way it is. Baseball, I think there's more of an opportunity for a program like Arkansas. Basketball, kind of the same deal for some programs. Like, it doesn't generate the same level of revenue, although, $4 million is nothing to squeal at. No pun intended. Okay, so baseball, Arkansas beat Oklahoma State 12-2 on Friday. They fell to TCU, number 10 TCU, 5-4 on Saturday, and then they came back in extra innings and beat Texas Tech in walk-off fashion 6-5. And now at 2 o'clock here in just a couple of hours, they play Tarleton State at 2 o'clock. This is also in Arlington, but not part of the Shriners Children College Showdown. This is the Amegi Bank College Baseball Series. It's just one game. I don't know who else is playing in this, but Arkansas is playing. Your next opportunity to watch Arkansas will be this weekend when they play Xavier in a 3-game series. That's Friday, February 20th, 21st, and 22nd. 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and noon. Those games are also available on the SEC Network. Plus, there is no way to watch the game against Tarleton State today. Okay? No television for this game. You can listen only. Obviously, we had a lot of issues with Flow College, streaming issues, people complaining. To be expected. Just kind of is what it is. Hey, I'd like to tell you about our friends over at Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. Proud to be the official jeweler of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Thrilled to support the team and be a part of the Razorback traditionally, especially in those big game moments. Since 1987, Blakeman's has been Northwest Arkansas's trusted destination for exceptional jewelry and personalized service, from fine diamonds to crafted custom pieces. Family-owned store delivers exceptional quality and craftsmanship for every occasion. Again, proud to be the official jeweler of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Visit them at their brand new location, 3202 Pinnacle Hills Parkway, Rogers, Arkansas, 72758. Now, Blakeman's is just a little bit different than everybody else. It's not your regular old standard type of jewelry store. This jewelry store is probably the nicest jewelry store in the region. Like, it's got some really nice stuff. You can also shop them online at BlakemansFineJewelry.com. Check out our friends over at Blakeman's. Support them. They support the Razorbacks. They support this show. Of course, Jordan Smith committed to Arkansas. What a big commitment. The number 2 ranked prospect in the country. He is the number 2 ranked prospect to ever sign with Arkansas. Number 2 in Arkansas history. So that's pretty cool. Nick Smith was number 1. Jordan Smith, no relation, just Smiths. Number 2, Al Jefferson is actually number 3, who never enrolled at Arkansas. This goes back to class of 2004. 2004, back when you could go straight to the NBA. And I think the year after that, they changed the rule. Darius Acuff, number 4 all-time. Malik Thomas, number 5. Boogie Flan, number 6, who's now at Florida. J.J. Andrews, coming in this class, is number 7. Anthony Black is 8. Jordan Walsh is 9. A lot of recent names here, like a lot of names in the last 5 years which is a good thing. Carter Knox, number 10 all-time. 11, Abdu Tor. I need to learn how to say his name. I don't ever say it out loud, but I need to learn how to say it. We'll ask Connor Goodson when we have him. Bobby Portis knocked all the way down to 12. It wasn't long ago that Bobby Portis was like in the top 3. Number 2. It wasn't so like, I mean, if you look at this, you had Al Jefferson as number 1 and then Bobby Portis, for a long time. All right. Hey, I want to play this clip of Coach Cal following Arkansas's basketball game. Win over Auburn, avenging that loss. We'll talk more about basketball.
And we're a downhill running team that can shoot. Okay, let's do numbers because this is about being a math teacher. 67% of twos. That means you got to make 46% of your threes. How many teams in the country are shooting 46% from the three-point line? Darius broke open the game, 3-3-3-3. If that is Trevin Brazil, well, we saw today in the last couple games. If that's who he is, we're really good. How about Billy Goat? People go crazy. But this building absolutely loves him because he just plays hard. He has amnesia, but he's playing with so much energy and passion. We get it. See, body language screams. And who's 6'10", can go block shots, rebound, and make threes?
There, Malik Thomas finished with 10 rebounds. Just not his best scoring night, but for him to...
Did he have 10? He had 5 at halftime.
5 at halftime. That means he had 5 in the other half. Okay, so Arkansas again winning 88-75. That's 3 straight. That's called a winning streak. They've won 6 of their last 7. The only loss to the Kentucky Wildcats. Alabama is up next, 6 o'clock on a Wednesday in Tuscaloosa. That's a big, big game. Now, when you look at some of the things that I guess that's happened in this last little streak, winning 6 of your last 7, and all 6 of those, Arkansas shot over 50% from the floor. Darius Acuff is 10 points shy of the Arkansas freshman record for points in a season with 530. Scotty Thurman holds the record from 1993 with 540 in 31 games. And Arkansas is 19. So Arkansas has played 25 games so far. I think Scotty averaged like 17-something a game that year. Acuff is 12 field goals shy of the Arkansas freshman record for points in the field goals in the season. Moved into 10th and the UA top 10 for points in a season in SEC games with 286. Moved to 9th on the top 10 for field goals in a season at 286. Darius Acuff, man. A lot of people talking about where Darius Acuff fits in Arkansas basketball lore. And really, guys, there's just a couple of names you can talk about when you're talking about point guards. Like, he may be the most talented, some people say, since Corliss. I would probably say since Joe Johnson. But you're talking about, as far as point guards, Lee Mayberry. In my era, I don't want to repeat myself because we talked about this a little bit on the last show. Corey Beck, just for his, he managed. He didn't put up like great numbers or anything, but he was a great point guard. Darius Acuff. And a lot of the stuff that, like, we start talking about Mayberry that he did was after, like, he was good his freshman year, obviously, but the sophomore year is when they went to the Final Four and, next year going to the Elite Eight and so on. But, yeah. Carter Knox got a little bit of run, came out hurt. DJ got a little bit of run. Need to get those guys healthy. Malik Ewan came out with the mask and then said, forget it. I'm taking it off. I was sitting with my buddy, Bo, at the game. So, like I've mentioned before, I like to go sit in the stands if I can. So this time we sat in the stands. This time we sat, like, exact opposite where I sat last time. Like, instead of behind the Arkansas bench, I sat in the other corner. And it's cool to bounce around at the different spots. But I thought it was a great crowd. But we were talking and just like, Darius Acuff is, like, he's a efficient 3-point shooter. Like, he takes a shot if it's open. Like, he's not going to go like, Malik Thomas and go like, 4-6 or, just go off like that. Malik may go, 1 of 8 one time, but the next time he goes 5 of 8, But we're sitting there talking like that. And then the next thing, Acuff, just raining threes. Like, okay. All right. This weekend we went to so we did Valentine's Day at our favorite local restaurant, Mexican restaurant, with some of our friends that invited us to the game, and then we went to the game, went over to their house stuff. It was a fun weekend, and you've got baseball going on at the exact same time. All right, we've got Kevin Bohannon coming up here shortly. We're going to bring him on. But anyway, I just thought it was a really fun weekend. How about Billy Richmond, though? 25 points, 12 of 15 from the floor. Just an outstanding day. That's a career high 25 for him. And Darius Acuff, 31, that ties his career high. But beating Auburn, 88-75. We're going to bring on Connor here in about 10 minutes, and we're going to talk a little bit about the race for the SEC. Obviously, Florida beat Kentucky over the weekend. They got to play them again. But we'll talk about the race for the SEC, what some teams have left coming up. But I'm going to bring in Cabo to the show to talk a little bit about what happened with Razorback baseball. If you don't follow Kevin Bohannon, you should. You can follow him at Cabo Baseball Guru on X and read all of his content at HawgSports. He's done a great job previewing the games and, of course, recapping the games and talking about what's to come as well. Kevin joins us on the Ozarks Go hotline. You can reach out to them if you're looking for fast, reliable, consistent internet service that I personally have used for 4 years or something like that. I don't know. I've been using them and haven't really thought about it just because it works consistently. Go to ozarksgo.net/hog or go to 479-684-4900, where if you call them, you will find someone local because it's a local company. See if they're available in your area, Northwest Arkansas, parts of Oklahoma. They're ever expanding. ozarksgo.net/hog. Cabo.
Trey.
What did we think about this weekend? Obviously, 2-1. It wasn't the sweep that you wanted, but it was 2-1.
Yeah, I think last Thursday when we were on the show, I said they'd go 3-1 and lose to TCU. So as far as expectations go, everything worked out really kind of the way I thought. Thought the offense would be a little bit behind. That was evident. Take away the home runs from this weekend, and they struggled to hit. I think they're hitting 257 as a team right now. And that's to be expected. Pitchers, they got a little extra ramp-up time this year, and that was across everybody, not just Arkansas Razorback. So, pitching was pretty good for TCU. Noah Franco came in three innings of relief. He ended up shutting down the game for the Horned Frogs, and they won. Texas Tech was average yesterday. Arkansas just didn't hit when they needed to at the right times. At one point, they were 2 for 27 with runners in scoring position. Now, Dave Van Horn knows that they need to work on a few things. They also know that this team's got some thump and can get back in a game really quick. That was evident by Camden. I got to get it right. Camden Kojal hitting a 2-strike, 2-out bomb in the bottom of the ninth yesterday after the Razorbacks gave up 4 runs in the top of the ninth to tie the game. So, a little bit of situational hitting. They got a lot to work on. The good thing is they got 2 wins so far. They'll be going for 3 against Tarleton State today here at 2 o'clock, less than 2 hours to game time. So a lot of good things to take away from this weekend.
I will allow one name change. You can change your name one time. Yeah. CJ O'Grady, if you remember, he was CJ, Cheyenne. And then he changed his name to Cheyenne. He's like, I want to go back to CJ. I was like, too late.
Yeah.
I've got you down to Cheyenne now.
Yeah, it's funny because
I'll let you change your name once. Muhammad Ali changed his name.
Yeah, during the post-game interviews, all the players are like, "Yeah, Cam in front of me. Cam did a great job. It's Cam to them." So yeah, it's gonna take a little while.
Yeah, it'll take a little bit. Helium guys, which pitcher or hitter you think is in the best situation after this weekend?
Yeah, helium guys are the guys that are on the rise. And helium guys is a term that you hear around MLB draft, guys that are shooting up the draft board. And this weekend, it was really evident who those 2 guys are. Tate McGuire had 5 innings on Saturday of perfect baseball. He struck out 4, did not walk anybody, did not allow a hit. So he, took what he did last summer in the Cape Cod League with an ERA under 1, had a good fall, had a good preseason, did not win a starting job, but he's that long relief guy that can come in and get the job done. So after Hunter Dietz, ran into some trouble early on. TCU got 4 runs in the first 2 innings. Jackson Kircher ran into trouble in the 4th inning, enter Tate McGuire. He goes the distance, 5 innings, kept Arkansas in the game, gave them a shot to do it. So Tate McGuire is one of those guys that just saw his, stock rise over the weekend. Doesn't overpower you like, Gabe Gackle or Dietz or Kircher. He's not a 98, 97 mile per hour guy, but he throws strikes. He can mix his pitches. He sequences well. So his stock went up over the weekend, and he'll see his name called out of the bullpen right away on the weekends. And then on offense, obviously Damian Ruiz, with what he did the last 11 times he got to the plate, he got on base. He moved from the 9-hole to the leadoff spot in Sunday's game. Nolan Sousa got the day off because Sousa's just not 100% yet. That's obvious with, his 2 for 10 performance and struck out 5 or 6 times. I just didn't look real comfortable at times, but he did have a leadoff hit Friday in the win over Oklahoma State. But Damian Ruiz, he's leading the team in hitting at 714. He's 5 for 7. Had the big hit in the bottom of the 11th inning to start the process of them getting that game-winning run, and he scored the game-winning run, had 3 stolen bases. So I think Arkansas found their everyday leadoff hitter in Damian Ruiz.
Big picture, what do you think this weekend meant, big picture-wise?
Yeah, competition, being able to come back after you blow a lead and you're able to come back really quick. So Dave Van Horn got to see some guys go out there and compete, and he's going to have some guys that, got roughed up a little bit. Cooper Dawsett, Jackson Kircher had a good inning, and then he had a bad inning, and then Hunter Dietz. So in the big picture of things, Trey, you don't really put too much stock into it, but you face some really good competition this weekend. They didn't go out and play Tennessee Tech or Nicholls State. No offense to those teams, but they played 3 teams from the Big 12. Everybody thought Texas Tech was going to be a pushover yesterday after they'd given up 23 runs in 2 games. Texas Tech played hard. That's the way college baseball is. If you lose a game, it's okay, but the goal is to win 2 out of 3 every weekend. You do that during SEC play, you go 20-10. That gets you a top 4 seed in the national seed in the NCAA playoffs. So a lot of good things to take away from this weekend. They need to go out and pitch well today. You're going to see a lot of young guys on the mound. Well, you won't see them, but you will hear them and see them online because it's not on TV. 436th reminder that no TV for today's ball game. Mm-hmm. Peyton Lee will get the start, former Maumelle pitcher, and then you likely to see Mark Brissy, Joey Lorenzini, Ethan McIlvain hasn't pitched yet. See more freshmen. Dave Van Horn started 4 yesterday against Texas Tech. I think that's the most ever freshman I've seen in the starting lineup since he's been there.
Biggest improvement that this team needs to make moving forward?
Situational hitting. You got to be able to hit with runners in scoring position. You can't get a leadoff man to second base and leave him there. Over the past few years, that's been the thing. A lot of fans will say, well, they live and die by the home run. That's not necessarily the case. Last year's team did hit 127 home runs, but they had a lot of good hitters last year. So making sure, cut it down a little bit. You don't have to take that mammoth hack just to drive a guy in. Just poke it to the right side. Ryder Helfrich did a great job of that yesterday with 2 strikes in the bottom of the 11th inning. Just did his job, got Ruiz to third base, and then Micah New hit a soft flare to center field that got Ruiz in. So you had 2 hits and a sac fly. That's all you need to score runs. Just produce. That's all you got to do.
I want to get your thoughts real quick on Bet Saracen has the line in this game at Arkansas minus 4.5 runs. The money line is minus 600. Tarleton State is plus 400. What do you think?
That's a good range right there. You expect when Arkansas throws some young guys that Tarleton State's going to score some runs. So I could see a 9-4, 10-5 ball game. I think Arkansas will come out and hit today. They've got a little bit, to make up from the past couple of days. I think the offense will come out on fire today. Take advantage of Tarleton State. They're at the end of their pitching rotation as well. And Arkansas is a lot deeper than Tarleton State. So I think Arkansas gets to double digits, and I think they cover today.
Yeah, I like the Hogs too, covering that also. All right, Kevin, appreciate you hopping on with us.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, everybody. Follow Kevin Bohannon at Cabo Baseball Guru on X and read all his content at HawgSports.
Arkansas's Fab Five for Bet Saracen.
Yo, Sid, what spread you checking out, man?
I'm checking out the Hogs on Bet Saracen.
Rainwater's exclusive specials and tons of Bet Saracen options make it Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
And they take more action on the Hogs than any other sports book in the world.
Guys, I am confident It's because we do their TV ads.
I agree with that.
Amen.
Bet Saracen.
All right, we're going to bring in Connor Goodson now. Connor joins us on the Ozarks Go hotline, also 479-684-4900. Connor, it was a fun weekend for Razorback basketball. Jordan Smith committing to the Hogs, and a nice win over an Auburn team that that handed it to Arkansas not long ago on the Plains.
Yeah, get back game for the Hogs for sure. Trey, if I would have told you coming into the season, out of the 4 returning guys from this year's team, that Billy Richmond would probably be the most likely to get drafted, you would have called me crazy, wouldn't you?
Maybe.
But I mean, there's a case that he's the most draftable guy out of those 4: Trevin Brazile, DJ Wagner, Carter Knox.
Hold on, we need Billy one more year.
I do think so, especially when Cal's got 3 guys coming in.
Take it easy.
I'm not trying to get rid of him at all. I'm just saying that, looking at all the draft experts and people, how NBA executives work, he could be, if he continues to go out and have nights like he did last night, he could be, it could be Billy gone instead of Carter, DJ, or any of these other guys. But
I'll make this point too, though, Connor. Like I say that in jest, but a Razorback coach a couple of staffs ago used to tell me that, we want this guy to go pro and get drafted in the first round early. Like that sends a message to the next crop, just kind of keep the thing rolling. But Arkansas wants Darius Acuff to get drafted in the lottery. They want Malik Thomas to be a first-round pick. They want Billy Richmond to be a 2-and-done, because that just sends the message to the next group like, hey, we're offering you $1 million. So is this school, but we have a pretty good track record here of getting you to where you want to be, in addition.
Exactly. And that's what that's his whole reputation. And that's how it kind of has worked for Cal for all these years, is that, you don't land a Jordan Smith Jr. if you don't get Darius Acuff, doing what he did, or getting all the guards that came before him, staying for 1 year and then leave it. Like, Cal's reputation is the reason you get these high level recruits, but then the flip side is that you only get them 1 year. So I will say though, that these 3 guys coming in, as much as fans adore Billy Richmond, all 3 of these guys, JJ Andrews, Abdou Toure, and Jordan Smith Jr., those 3 guys are like little Billy Richmonds. Like, they just play with energy, hustle, motor. Their skill set may not be the most polished yet, but they're going to give you 100% effort every time they're out on the floor. So if you do lose Billy Richmond to the draft, which I like we said, we don't want that to happen, but if you do, there is a little bit of solace knowing that the 3 guys you got coming in could be that engine, that motor, that energy spark plug type guys coming in.
Yeah. This is a question from Raw Hog. He said, should Billy Richmond continue to start over Carter regardless of health? I think so.
I think so. And I wrote about this during the bye week too, extensively. I think that, why not have your best 5 out there to start the game, which, obviously they've made the change with going with Billy, over Carter, but you could make a case to get Ewan in there over. I was about
to say, like, are you a proponent for Malik Ewan in there?
Yeah, for sure. I think, and then if Pringle comes in after that, first media timeout, and if he's got it going on, then obviously maybe you adjust his minutes. But I think that getting your best 5 out there to start is probably the best. I would have liked to seen them do that this time around when you got DJ and Carter and them kind of on the mend and not really playing. I would have liked to see them tinker with that a little bit, but
Cal says that's 8th grade S.
Yeah, I mean,
8th grade S.
But also, when going into that bye, the big thing with this Arkansas team is their struggle starting games. And so that's really one of the reasons why I was so big, lobbying for that, was because Arkansas just didn't start well in games. Kentucky jumped out on them 26-13 in their first meeting with Auburn. Auburn jumped on them out of the gate. So if you're having trouble starting, just start your best players and see if that helps. But these last 3 games, they've shown that they can, really get after teams to start, and maybe that they've corrected that a little bit. So maybe it's not necessarily the biggest deal that Pringle's still starting, but yeah, I do like what this team is doing. They're kind of following that same Cal blueprint to where they're starting to, really hit their stride as the season winds down.
This is from ASAP Hog. I thought this was a fun question. He said, this season has been a dunk show for the Razorbacks. Who are your 3 favorite dunkers in Razorback history? You tell me, and I'll tell you if you're right or not.
I think, obviously, you've got to give a nod to Michael Qualls, just because I think he's a sneaky guy in there that I think, just his
we could argue that he's one, but yes.
Yeah, he's
got to be in there.
He's got to be in there. Ricky Council, Ricky
Council, yes,
Ricky Council could throw it down. And then obviously I think TB, just his athletic ability and just his, especially off of misses, his putback game. Just freak of nature. I'll always remember that I think it was South Dakota State that he posterized his first year here. So I would probably say that, and then Billy Richmond's obviously in there as well. Like, he arguably had better dunks than the NBA dunk contest did on Saturday night. So I think any collection of those 4, and maybe I'm missing someone from earlier years that I'm just not thinking of, but
maybe a little bit too early for you. But Qualls definitely is on that list. Trevin Brazil is definitely on that list. I think Billy belongs in the discussion too. Some of the things he does, it's just so quick, and sometimes it's unexpected, which I love. Like, oh my God, he really dunked that, that kind of stuff. Ricky Council was just, as far as flamboyancy, Ricky Council may be number 1. Like, he would do some really ridiculous dunks and could throw it down, reverse dunk all it. Remember, Ricky would just
and he made
out
it
of nowhere.
Too.
So here's a name that you might be forgetting. It's a shorter guy. Brandon Dean.
Oh, Brandon, yeah.
Brandon Dean.
Wasn't his nickname Baby Shaq?
Flush it.
Was that Baby Shaq?
No, Baby Shaq was
who was Baby Shaq?
Baby Shaq was what's his name? I can see his face.
Somebody's got to help.
Oh my gosh. If you hadn't asked me that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't remember his name.
I'm seeing comments also right now. Mike Mason from Facebook. Daniel Gafford's also a sneaky one.
Daniel Gafford is a good one.
He's up there.
The first time I saw Daniel throw one down, I was like, oh my God, this guy's going to the NBA.
Yeah.
This guy is going to the NBA. Like, no question.
Lane,
nobody runs the court like he does and throws it down like that at 6'10" and doesn't go to the NBA.
Mr. Brenton Lowe, Lane, was it
Alonzo Lane?
Alonzo Lane, yep.
Alonzo Lane.
Okay.
I was never a big
Brandon
fan
Dean.
of the Baby Shaq nickname. Alonzo was like 6'5", but he was like a shorter Corliss kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of that kind of mold of a player. But no, he was a good enough player for Arkansas. He doesn't belong in this list of best dunkers all time, which I would again say Michael Qualls. I'm putting Billy Richmond in there. Trevin Brazil, Trevin May. All these guys you can make a claim for number 1. Ricky Council, Brandon Dean. Brandon Dean was robbed in the college dunk contest also, but Brandon was none of these guys. All these guys are like 6'4" or taller.
Oh,
except for Dean.
I'm forgetting.
Dean was about 6 foot 6'1". Dean was he went to college the same time as I did, and we'd have class about the same time. We'd park in the garage, and I would walk, or I'd talk to him sometimes, but he was about the same height as me. He wasn't taller than 6'1". I promise you. I'm
forgetting one that I can't believe I forgot this guy, because he's arguably one of the most underrated and one of my favorite guys of all time, Sonny Weems. I
thought about Sonny.
Really,
Sonny was really good, and probably you could make a discussion.
Yeah.
If I'm comparing Sonny to like Ricky Council side by side, or Qualls, I take those other 2 guys. But Sonny could really throw it down. There's a lot of guys that could throw it down.
Yeah. Ronnie Brewer Ronnie Brewer Jr. also has a case as well. He threw down some pretty flashy, fun dunks in his time, but I like the guys that we mentioned. I think that those are probably the 4, and I'm sure ASAP Hogg will have a couple of guys that we left off maybe too.
Yeah. Hey, Walker brothers. Walker, Excuse me. Walker Brothers brings you the finest men's clothing from around the world, carefully selected to last, fit right, and help you look your best. From distinguished luxury wear to the perfect faded pair of jeans, check out our friends over at Walker Brothers. 577 Millsap Road, suite number 6 in Fayetteville. They've been there for as long as I can remember, and they have a brand new location in Rogers, 3503 South 55th Street, suite 101. Yeah, all the brands you like Curly Tail. They got the Crazy Hog. They put the Curly Tail logo, their Curly Tail logo on all different, different shirts like Peter Millar, Johnny O, Horns 11, Divot Sportswear. Got the Crazy Hog logo also. So check out our friends over at Walker Brothers. The thing I like about Walker Brothers is I've got stuff in my closet from them from over 5 years ago, more, probably even longer than that. Stuff that just really high quality clothing. Important to get high quality threads. All right, let's go back to our buddy Connor Goodson. Hey, so let's talk a little bit about the layout of the SEC. Obviously, Florida beat Kentucky over the weekend, moves them to 10-2, alone at first place in the conference. They have to play Kentucky again, though, in Lexington. Arkansas, with their win, is now alone in second place at 9-3. And you got a number of teams at 8-4, another group at 7-5. Now, when I look at the Arkansas schedule, the remainder of it, you've got everybody that they play has a winning record in conference. A big game coming up at Alabama on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. You've got Missouri in Fayetteville. You got Texas A&M in Fayetteville. That Missouri game is the last Saturday game in Fayetteville, by the way. The Missouri game. Yeah. That'll be a hot ticket, February 21st. And then you've got Texas A&M on Wednesday in Fayetteville. You're at Florida. You get Texas in Fayetteville on Wednesday, and then you're at Missouri. I think that Arkansas has to beat Florida.
Yes.
You've got to beat Florida.
You've got to beat Florida, and I maybe you can afford 2 losses in this stretch and still win if Florida is one of those. But I mean, ideally you would go 5-1 in these final or 6-1. We'll only have 1 loss in this final stretch is ideal to be able to win this outright. But you look at the guys, even there's a 4-way tie behind Arkansas for third right now. Arkansas's probably got the one of the tougher. They probably do have the toughest collection of teams to face.
Florida's got a pretty relatively easy road coming up. Florida plays. Let me just tell you real quick. They play South Carolina next. That's a win. They play Ole Miss next. That's a win, even in Oxford. Both those teams have losing conference record. They're at Texas. That's a big one. If you're ever going to pull for Texas, this probably be the time to do it, even if it hurts you. And then, of course, Arkansas, you're pulling for Arkansas. Mississippi State also has a losing conference record, and then they round things out at Kentucky. So you're rooting on Texas. Obviously, you're rooting on Arkansas. You're rooting on Kentucky. They're going to beat South Carolina, and they're going to beat Ole Miss, and they're going to beat Mississippi State.
Yeah, and I mean, you've also got to win at Alabama because Alabama's in that mix too.
Right.
So you've got
it's a big game coming up.
Wednesday is a massive game, and Alabama's starting to, they got some guys back healthy. The whole Charles Bediako thing's behind them. They've rattled off, I believe, 4 in a row now. Yeah, I'm looking at 4 in a row, 5 of their last 6. So they're starting to hit their stride as well. And when I look at that matchup, it's like Arkansas is playing a little bit of a mirror image of themselves with a team that's really good offensively, shown some susceptibility to let things by on the defensive end and really struggle at that end at times. So you're playing a team that's kind of a mirror image as you, that's right behind you in the standings. You got to take care of that. And then if Arkansas can get by Alabama in Tuscaloosa, then the path becomes a lot more clear, and you can kind of, it makes you a little bit more confident that they can actually do what they need to do to really possibly take the reins and control of this SEC race, and it sets up nicely if you can take care of Alabama. And just
what are you hearing on Knox and Wagner? Obviously, we saw them. I think they both played 6 minutes each. Knox came out of the game, obviously.
Yeah, so Calipari said that he retweaked his knee slipping there, and that's why they didn't play him anymore. I think for both of those guys, it was just kind of getting reacclimated a little bit and not trying to shake some rust off more than anything. If I had to guess, I would assume that Wagner's fine to go moving forward. And then maybe Knox is listed as either questionable or probable on the injury report. But I do know that they're just being very cautious with him, and they don't want to rush anything back since it is a knee, and they don't want to have things really linger going into the postseason. So I think that I don't see a world where he does sit out of this game if he can go, even if he can give them 5-10 minutes at most. But I do think that they're being really cautious. So you never know. It wouldn't surprise me to see him on that injury report for sure. But I think Wagner should be fine to go. It's more of a pain management thing for him as well.
Arkansas is number 20th in the latest AP poll, moving up one spot, 19-6 overall. It's kind of weird to see, like, they took care of business against Louisville. Louisville's right behind them at 21, and then they just hammered Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt's one ahead of them at 19th. But Arkansas number 20th in the latest poll.
Yeah,
anything else to add, Connor?
No, I was about to say Alabama and Vanderbilt both on those the seed line above Arkansas. I think Arkansas is a 5 seed in the latest.
Yeah, I saw them on bracketology as a 5 seed in the latest one.
And you've got Alabama and Vanderbilt ahead of them, which, it's splitting hairs at that point. But if you beat Alabama on Wednesday, nobody can really, make that case to put the tide over you. So I think Arkansas, is it probable that they can get a 3 seed? No, but it's still mathematically out there if they take care of
need that 3 seed. Yeah. You need to get off that 5-4 and into the 3 where they're not facing.
Feel really good. And so hopefully they can pick up a win. We'll have a lot of coverage and a lot of good things looking at the Alabama matchup coming up. So definitely follow.
We're just a couple of weeks away from March.
Yeah. It's flown by, man.
Yeah. All right, Connor. Appreciate you, bud.
Thanks, Trey.
All right, everybody. Follow him at Connor Goodson on X. He's the HawgSports basketball analyst and does a little bit of everything. He'll be helping us out, of course, tomorrow when we have an hour's worth of press conferences with Ryan Silverfield and the gang, Ron Roberts, Tim Cranzy, so on and so forth. Well, not so on and so forth, just those 3 guys. All right. Hey, I've been telling you about my friend over at Back Nine Golf. He just opened it up recently. It is in Fayetteville. It is something that golfers needed in Northwest Arkansas. I was there over the weekend, just when it was raining on what day was that? When did it rain? Saturday or Sunday? Saturday, before the game. But man, it's just such a nice setup. Now, the important thing to note here is, like, there's a cap on the number of members that they're allowing to sign up, and they're having people rush in. So if you want to sign up, you can book a free demo. Just go to Back9Golf, theback9golf.com. You click on, Arkansas, Fayetteville, and you'll see it right there. There's 3 different tiers of memberships. It's a monthly plan. They have 4 hitting bays. I mean, it's a really nice space and just really, really well done. It's the nicest simulator that I have ever played. And one of the things I like about it is the ball hits the screen and it keeps going. Like, there's no delay because there's lasers pointed at the screen. Anyway, go check them out at back9golf.com and sign up for a free demo. I mean, just sign up for a demo. You'll be very impressed. I love too, like, my phone is my key. So, like, I book my tee time and I go in there and, put my phone up to the keypad and it opens the door and lets me in. And it's 24/7. You can go at 3:00 in the morning if you want to. So pretty cool. Check them out at Back Nine Golf. Okay. We've gotten to everything that I wanted to cover. I think so. All right, let's hit up some questions real quick. Who's got a question? We answered a few of them already. Okay. Woo Pig Chewy, just a fun speculation question. With 90 scholarship limit being an agreement between SEC schools, how long before Kiffin decides to ignore it and go to the full 105? He does whatever he wants to do, really. Like he used to, fake injuries all the time, like just blatantly. He just does whatever he wants to do, really, and just like deal with it. Like, I mean, kind of got to respect it a little bit, to be honest. But yeah, all the athletic directors have kind of agreed to go 90 scholarships, which is where Arkansas is at. Chad Razorback says, what is the best or favorite football road win you've seen in person? I was not at the Miracle on Markham, I was at the Miracle on Markham, and that was at home. I was not at the Hunter Heave game in Oxford. I would assume a lot of people who went to that one would say that one. There's the Darren McFadden 2007. I got that Wood game that I think would go on a lot of people's list too. But I'm going to say, I think my favorite one was 2003. I think that was September 12th, 2003 in Austin with Matt Jones when Arkansas went down to Texas and nobody gave Arkansas a chance, and Arkansas won the game. I was in the stands for that one. That was, to me, that was up there. That was a great experience. Just the whole experience in Austin, I think, that weekend, all the stuff that we did, and then, beating Texas like that. That's probably the most fun I've had for a road win. Others, honorable mentions, going to Tennessee in 2015, going to Knoxville and beating them like that. They had I think it was Kamara return the opening kickoff for a touchdown in that game. But it was all Arkansas after that. Yeah, those are up there. The Texas game, I think, is probably number one for me. We answered that one. Live and Guy says, Trey, if you could write the media access policy for Ryan Silverfield during spring football, what would it look like? How much access when interviews? Well, we do a pre-spring interview, and then we would. It's a good question. There's 15 practices. I want to talk to him every week if possible, but I also want to talk to every single assistant coach, right? I want to be able to talk to every single assistant coach. So what is there, a dozen assistant? There's 12 assistant coaches now because there's not, which I've heard they may just stick with 12. They do have a defensive line coach. They had 2 defensive line coaches before Marion Hobby took the Indianapolis Colts position. So, yeah, I mean, that gives us 12. I mean, we want to talk to him every weekend, I would think. So maybe that gives us 12 practices with the assistants and then 3 with him. I don't know if 3's enough. I don't know how they would do that. Maybe they would double up. You get 2 assistant coaches or something. I don't know. It's a good question. Kyle Parkinson will get it figured out. Okay. I don't have a whole lot of questions today. We got a lot of comments. Outside of football, does Arkansas have one of the best athletic programs in the country? Where would you rank them in the SEC? Well, they do the Learfield Directors Cup, but yeah, I mean, Arkansas athletics overall. Arkansas, let's see. Here is for 2026, January 22nd, 2026 is this latest update. That's not a list. I think they had a list on, December. Nope, it's not a list either. Don't make it hard to find your stuff, Learfield. Overall standings, you got to click a second link. But Arkansas is always in this list, so I mean they're top 25, however you want to cut it. Here it is, okay. I'm wondering why they hadn't been sending these out lately. I don't see Arkansas. This is for 2025 fall. Yeah, Arkansas is way down at 34th. So not as high as they used to be. They used to we We talk a lot about them being in the top 10 and stuff. So not as high for this particular time period. This is fall standings as of December 22nd, 2025. But, overall good athletics. But here's the thing, like most people would trade success in every single one of these sports. Maybe not baseball, probably not basketball, definitely not basketball, and almost certainly not baseball, but some people would. But for success in football and the other, 16 sports, they would trade every single win for a successful football program. So that's kind of how people measure success. Like, is football good? Okay. Who's the best three-point shooter? Malik Thomas is the best three-point shooter. He's still the best three-point shooter. Corliss Williamson was a good dunker, but he wasn't just like extravagant, City Moncrief. Okay. Yep, a lot of comments today. Just how it is. All right, everybody. I think we did a good show today. I'm proud of today's show. Good enough, smart enough, and doggone it, people like the show. Give us a thumbs up or a like, depending on whatever platform you're at. Appreciate all that. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Give us a 5-star review. All those good things. We really appreciate everybody for tuning into the show today. We're back with you guys on Thursday. There'll be plenty to talk about. We'll have Arkansas hopefully coming off of a win against Alabama. Baseball series coming up against Xavier. And hopefully some more good news. Well, we'll talk a lot about Ryan Silverfield as well, and the interview with the coordinators. We should have a lot of new content coming off that. All right. Thanks to Kevin Bohannon for joining us and Connor Goodson as well. This has been Trey Biddy with HawgSports.com, and we'll catch you next time.